So, good morning, everyone. Last class, we played with hips and cow face pose, and we're going to explore that a little bit more, but we're going to be working kind of hips and glutes a little more. So, do me a favor, grab your strap and put it in a loop. You'll kind of figure out how wide, but um, it's, I don't know, a couple feet wide maybe in that loop. We're going to be using this in a little bit to play with our legs and our hips. The sun just went behind a cloud, so I got a little darker in here. So hang on to your strap, keep it where you can get to it easily. I'll put it right behind me. And then come on to your backs. Keep your legs, keep your knees bent and draw the shoulders down to your floor and feel your feet on the yoga mat. And then take your feet wider and draw your knees in towards center. If that feels okay, I want you to stay there because we've been playing with a little bit of internal and external rotation of the hips and the legs. And I want to just experience this more internal rotation of the legs and just kind of stay with it if you can. Feel your sacrum on the floor, feel the inner edges of your feet on the floor, shoulders are down, and then let your hands rest on your belly. Come into your center, maybe close the eyes. And start by just feeling your breath, feeling the simple inhale and exhale of your breathing. As we start to draw our focus from the outer world more to the inner world, right? To what is happening in the space of our bodies, on our mats. Good, one more breath here. And we're going to add a little bit of focused pranayama here. And it's a simple breath and it's called 4-7-8, 4-7-8. And in its simplest terms, you inhale for the count of 4, you hold the breath for the count of 7, and you exhale for the count of 8. Now, the exhale for the count of 8 is audible. It's a kind of through your mouth. And with all of those counts, if, say, holding your breath for 7 counts is just too long, you go 6, you go 5. So I'm going to count us through a few rounds, and then I'll let you just stay with your own breath for the last few rounds. So start with just a good exhale. And then inhale, count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, audible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale deep for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Audible. 5, 6, 7, 8. And inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 more rounds on your own, inhaling. One more round. And then relax your breathing when you're done. And just feel that. Just feel maybe the nervous system feeling a little bit calmer, the centering of your body, mind, spirit a little bit more centered. Just notice. And then separate your knees, widen your feet so that the feet are at the edges of your mat. And start a little bit of easy windshield wipering. Just let the knees, both knees go to one side and the other side. You can release your arms. I really like cactus arms in this little movement here. It just starts to open up the chest. Still tapping into your breath, still feeling what's going on, right? As we breathe, notice that you're rolling from sacrum to hip, right, to the inner and outer glutes on both sides as your windshield wipering. The next time your knees are over to the left, go ahead and pause there and just feel the sensation of that right hip, the back hip, right? For stretching out just a little bit more than when you were moving. If this feels good and you want to go a little bit deeper, take the outer left ankle and place it above your right knee and allow that right knee to head toward the floor a little bit more. For some, this feels really good. For others, it's way too much so early in class. So honor your process here and just see how that feels for you. And notice as you take a deep breath, right? It stretches through that whole right side belly, maybe into the ribs. Release your left foot, put that back on the ground. Inhale, center. Let both knees go to the right and pause again. Just feel what you're feeling. There should be no pain in the hip or the knee. And if there is, just move your legs so that you come out of any discomfort there. So one, stay here. Two, the right ankle goes just above the left knee as we stretch a little bit deeper into the left side belly. Taking a nice deep breath and letting that breath out, finding our focus here. And then release that ankle, bring both knees back to center, take the soles of the feet together. A little bit of a supine Badakanasana here, right? Little butterfly, maybe rock side to side. So before we had the feet out and the knees in, that was more internal rotation. This is obviously more external rotation. And again, just feel as you rock from hip to hip, what's happening in your particular body. How does it feel? Are you overarching? Can you stay more neutral in your spine? The next time the left knee is heading toward the floor, let it go all the way so that your right knee is on top. Keep your right foot on the floor, but press your knees away from each other. So what I'm hoping you feel is the engagement of your left glute that is on the floor. So I'm pressing my left leg into the floor. I'm moving my right knee away, but I'm not letting the foot lift off. So both hips are getting engaged. Breathe, everybody, and then take the right knee onto the left knee. Maybe curl over to your side, little bit of a stretch, And then press your right foot onto the floor. Press both knees away from you. Keep the right foot on the floor. Don't let that big toe mound come off the floor. Press the left leg into the floor. Good. Last one. Just curl all the way over and open it up. So just press, 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 open, open, open. See where you can go without losing contact with the floor. Feel the right hip engaging. Feel the left hip engaging as if you could lift that left hip off the floor, that kind of engagement. Good. Release the engagement part. Bring your left knee up. Lower your right knee so it's on the floor and your left leg is pressed up or your left knee is pointing up. Same thing here. I want you to press your right leg, right hip into the floor. Move your left knee away, but don't let the big toe mound come off the floor. It's only going to go so far. Mine is just a few inches maybe to the left, but then that whole left side hip starts to engage. Just notice that. Good. Roll over, let the left knee go to the right, onto your right side, just kind of stretching and then open it up again. Press specifically through that right hip. You should feel some engagement, a little bit of lift. Press your left leg isometrically away from you so that you feel that, right? Maybe you feel the hamstrings here and release. Roll to your right side. Last one here. Just press down and press away. And notice, right? How does that feel for you? Can you feel the muscle engagement in your hips? Good. Release the press. Bring your right knee back up. Square those hips if they got out of the way. Grab your strap and find your loop. You're going to take that loop around both feet and take both legs up to the ceiling. The tail of your strap is just kind of hanging down through the center. If you want or need some lower back assistance here, just take the hands underneath your sacrum to help with that. Now, not everybody's hamstrings are wide open here, so maybe you have more of a bend in your knees. In fact, everybody start with a little bit of a bend. Tuck your belly, squeeze the belly in, draw your shoulders back down to the floor. So we're working on our posture at the same time. And then push your feet against the strap. Ooh, yeah. So what are you feeling, everybody? Maybe a little bit of outer hip action happening already. Find your breath and then straighten your knees, release the push against the strap. Bend the knees a little bit, push against, think kind of happy baby almost, right? But not a deep one. Push the outer edges of your feet against the strap. Feel the hips working. Notice where you feel it. Tone the lower belly in. Ooh, yeah. Breathe, everybody. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Release, just stretch out the legs, maybe point and flex your ankles. We've got one more right here. So this time, either the legs are straight or the knees are bent. Just watch for any pressure around the knee joints themselves. Flex your feet. Press that strap away from you. Ooh, such a simple, simple, simple move. And already I'm feeling all kinds of work happening all through the hips and the glutes. Breathe, everybody. And then bend your knees, press your knees away isometrically, right? So you're still pushing against the strap, but now you're pushing the knees out as well. Woo! I don't know if you can see that, but my legs are starting to shake. The strap is starting to shake. Good. Straighten the legs. Whew. Maybe shake out those ankles a little bit. One more right there. So bend your knees, nice 90 degrees. Press against your strap and then press out the knees isometrically. So now we're working inner and outer thighs. Find your breath here. Breathe. Keep pressing the knees isometrically out as if you were pressing the knees into a wall. Find your breath. Breathe and release. Feet to the floor. Oh, step your feet wide so that you feel the strap on, you feel the strap against your feet. You feel your feet pressing into the strap. For me, my feet are about the same width as my mat. I would go there or a little bit more narrow. And then press your elbows into the floor, lift your hips, squeeze, and lower down. Good. Press up. So bridge pose here and down, but the legs are nice and wide. You're feeling that strap. The knees are isometrically pressing out so that they stay level with the feet. Good. Breathe. Press up, squeeze, and down. Press up, squeeze. I want lots of hip squeeze. Excuse me. And down. Good. Two more. Squeeze up and down. Squeeze up. Woo. And down. Good. And release it. Just bring your knees to your chest. And you can take the strap and just bring it up around your hips. It's really out of the way for now. We'll get back to it in just a second. So right foot to the floor, left leg reaches up. Roll your shoulders down. Good. Point, flex, and circle your ankle. Just warm it up a little bit. Hold that left leg, and you can hold behind the knee, behind the calf, behind the ankle. Woo. Breathe. Maybe you straighten your right leg. And when you straighten the right leg, don't let your left leg move from where it was when the knee was bent, right? So you'll know if you straighten your right leg and your left leg, no way, no how, is staying in that position with your knee relatively straight, then you're going to want some bend in your right knee. So just feel that, and then maybe pull down on the left leg. Really center that, really ground that hip as you stretch through the hamstring. Find your breath. Keep the left hand on your leg, no matter where it is for you. Your right arm goes to cactus pose, and take your left leg out to the left, but only as far as you can. One, with your hand holding it, and two, with your right hip grounded. Find your breath here. Really tone through the lower belly, stretching that inner thigh a whole bunch. There are huge inner thigh adductor muscles. Those muscles bring the legs back together. We are stretching the bejesus out of them. So breathe and take that leg up. Whoo, bend your knee. Bring that knee to chest. Bend your right knee. Bring that to chest. Good. Same thing, other side. Your left foot stays on the floor for starters. The right leg goes up, maybe point, flex, maybe circle a little bit here. Just get those ankles moving and grooving, right? Get lots of lubrication in there. And then either hold behind your knee, behind your calf, or behind your ankle. Where is it going to go for you? Don't overreach. You shouldn't be stressing the shoulders here. Good. Stretch it out. My right leg's tighter than my left, so I don't have as much movement here as I did on the other side. I'm going to straighten the left leg and see how's that feel for me. I need a little bit of a bend there this early in class until that hammy opens up. And just feel that, like, whoo, really ground the right leg down into the hip socket as best you can. That right knee is straight. Find your breath, and then hold that leg with your right hand. The left arm comes out in cactus pose, and take that leg out to the side. Excuse me. Breathe, everybody. Right. Try to keep the left hip grounded, keep the left shoulder grounded, stretching the big, strong muscles of the inner thighs. Whoo, big deep breath. And bring it back to center. Bend that knee, bring it to chest. Bend your other knee, bring it to chest. Good. And then while we're here, before we get back to our strap, I want to do a little bit of core work. So knees to chest, hands behind your head, soft interlace of those fingers. Just be mindful here as you straighten your right leg, bring your right elbow to your left knee. Right? We've done these a zillion times in classes. This one we're holding. Notice I haven't switched yet, my lovelies, right? So We breathe here as we start to engage the belly. Draw the belly button toward the spine and switch. And just hold it for a second here. Just see what's happening. Make sure you're not pulling on your head. You don't have to touch elbow to knee. You might be a little bit lower, and that's okay, right? Good. So switch. Slowly switch. See if you can rock that shoulder off the floor. In other words, your elbow is reaching more for your knee as opposed to your knee reaching for your elbow. Good. Switch, everybody. And switch. And switch. Getting a little bit quicker, but still really focused on belly. And switch. I hope you're all still with me. Switch. Two more. Switch. Last one right here. Switch and release knees to chest and breathe. All right, so you're going to take your strap and put it around those feet again. And then you're going to turn onto your left side. So, however you need to make that happen, cushion your head either with a blanket or just with your arm. And then see if you can straighten both legs so that your top leg, your right leg, is up at this, up toward the ceiling, and your bottom leg is pressing into the floor. Don't overpress the strap, just enough to keep it in place. Now, press your left hip, left leg into the floor, like really into the floor, and feel your left glute, your left buttocks start to engage. Now, here's where it gets tricky and fun and challenging. And Jana, I think, just watched the hip. I'm not sure which one it is. So I want you to try to keep your toes pointing forward, push into your left leg, and now push up on the strap. It is isometric work. We are working this right here, right? So breathe, everybody. Isometric work. Keep it going if you can. Tone the belly in. Find it, fire it up, and just soften down. Try to keep the strap from slipping. Good. Inhale, press up. Exhale, keep pressing. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower. You're not touching all the way. Good. Bring it up. Press. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze that belly. We got 2 more. Exhale, press up, press up, press up. Resist that stretch, right? Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower. Last one. Push up. Breathe. Oh, yeah, we got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower. All the way, all the way. And just breathe. It's amazing what simple exercises can do to engage. So find the strap again, just press up enough, but this time the leg is going behind you. Your left foot is going to ground it. So you're going to feel this more at the back, right? More at the glute. So I want you to press into that strap and breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and soften it. And then stretch it and send it back. Whoo, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften it. I know you're feeling this. How many are feeling the bottom glute, right? Because that's got to stay engaged. Good. Breathe. 5, 4, 3. Squeeze your belly. 2, 1. We got 2 more, everybody. Hang in. Lift up. Find that purchase and reach it back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. One more, one more, one more. Find it, reach it back, squeeze it, tone the belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Holy moly. Bend both knees, everybody, and curl up. Stretch it out. I know, I know, I know. Maybe pat it out, right? And when you're ready, let's switch sides. So finding that strap again. Whew. This time we're laying on our right side. There it is, right? So we're going to start easy, toes point forward. If you have pain, right? You only do a couple, you hold it for a couple. So ground the heck out of your bottom leg. Try to keep the toes pointing toward the front of the room and press 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe lower. Good. Press up, find purchase. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften. And up. Press up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. So we're doing these a little quicker because this leg's already gotten some work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Breathe, roll it out. All right, so last set, here we go. Lift up, lift back. Try to find that glute engagement. You reach back and feel that, right? You should feel that glute muscle working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower. Good. Lift, find that purchase, reach back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. You're all going, what did I sign up for? Lift, press back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. And last one. Lift, press back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Good. Bend both knees. I know. We're going to get moving a bunch more in just a second. I want to finish this little series and then we'll be done. So the strap is between your feet and you are going wide, right? So it's between your feet. Whew. Press your belly into the floor. You can rest your forehead or your chin on your hands. I want you to stretch and see if you can lift those legs any amount off the floor, but push against that strap. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower. And lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower. We got 3 more. Tone your belly, press your pubic bone in, lift and just try to pull away. Maybe you lift your upper body a little bit, right? More locusty pose as we work and strengthen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. All right, 2 more. We got this. All right, press out, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. 1 more. Breathe, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Holy moly. Shimmy your feet out from your strap. Bend your knees. Windshield wiper your legs. It's amazing, isn't it? Simple stuff and how it engages different muscles in different ways. Good. And while you're on your belly, go ahead and straighten your leg and do me a favor, just slide your left knee along the floor out to the side so that it is roughly parallel with your left hip line. Okay. If your knee is on something hard floor and it doesn't feel good, maybe scoot over on your mat or we're not going to stay long. So this is a hip hiker. It's called a like rock climber pose. And it's just to release the muscles, what we just did. So it should feel kind of good there. Take a deep breath. If you have the room and the desire, straighten that same leg, straighten that left leg out to the side. Any kind of weird knee pain, you bend the knee again. Find your breath. And then only if you want, see if your body will come up to elbows. Big stretch, inner thighs, release for that outer thigh work that we just did. Good. And lower your body if it's up, bend your knee and release. Go to the other side. I've got to turn around because I have no space behind me. So when you're ready, just find yourself comfortable. Slide the right knee out to the right side. It's on the floor. You're finding your breath. You're just letting that hip knee settle. Should be no pain here at all. Just release it. And then as you're ready, I want you, if you choose, to just straighten the right leg and see how that feels on the hips. Breathe. And finally, if it feels marvelous, you have that range of motion, come on up on your elbows, similar to a Sphinx pose, to get even deeper stretched in the inner thigh, and then adding a little belly stretch with it. That's it. Good. If you've raised up, lower down. If you straighten the leg, bend the knee, bring it all back. I want you to press into your hands and come to a wide leg child's pose. So take the knees to the outer edges of your mat. The feet are together, and just come on down, press back. Maybe your forehead rests on your hands. So again, stretching out some of the stuff we just did. We don't want to overtax the hips as much as we want to work them and strengthen them. We've got to be mindful about not overdoing it. Good. And then come on up. So if your knees will tolerate this, I'm going to ask you to come to the back edge of your mat. Your knees are on the mat, and I simply want you to crawl to the front of your mat. I know that seems really weird, but somehow along the way, we've forgotten how to crawl, right? We did it well as babies, and it's a real interesting hand-eye coordination thing and a brain issue. So as your left hand comes forward, your right knee comes forward, and switch, and switch. Good. And switch until your knees are to the top of your mat. And then go backwards. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. Good. Forward again. And then just see what's going on with your hips. Like once your brain gets past the thing, right? The crawling, see if you can relax the hips and feel the beauty and the evolution of when babies learn to crawl and coordinate hands and knees and hips, right? And shoulders and weight bearing. Good. One more. Bring it back. And as I talk, I get really confused. And forward, last one. Come to the very front of your mat. Find table pose. Crawling is a good thing. If you've got a nice carpeted room, go for it. All right, so nice tone to your belly. Flip your toes under. Come on up off those knees. Take the feet wide on your mat and just bend the knees. Right, shake a little side to side. Check your upper body. Make sure you're not collapsing in the shoulders, elbows, or hands. And then bend your knees. Big bend of your knees, bigger bend of your knees, and see where you can go here. Tone the belly, float over your wrists. Lower your knees in tandem. Tone and tuck, come into a nice cat pose. Release to a cow pose. Exhale to table. Push into your feet, lift your knees. Scoot your whole upper body back toward your thighs. Slowly straighten the legs. So it's just a little breakdown, right? So as we're here in this wide leg downward facing dog, tiptoe it up, come up to your tippy toes, bend your knees. Float over your wrists, watch those wrists, lower your knees. Maybe scoot back at your hips and come on back up. Table pose, squeeze your belly, lift your knees. Draw the chest toward your thighs, arms straightened, legs straightened. Good, one more here, tippy toes to knees, hover, right? Breathe, lower your knees to the floor, send your hips back to your heels. And then come on up, cow or cat pose, cow pose, table pose. Step forward with your right foot. And breathe. I scooted all my blocks and props out of the way. So if you happen to have your blocks and you want blocks under your hands, it really is a pretty nice way to approach, especially your first lunge. So feel this lunge, right? And there's an interesting thing that happens when we go into lunge, especially if we're flexible, we can really drop into this front hip. I want you to do a slight tuck of the hip so that you feel your left glute engage. It's like so subtle. It's like somebody just pokes a finger at that hip joint and tucks it in a little bit. Feel that difference, right? And then feel the integrity of the hips and then isometrically squeeze the hips toward each other. Plant your hands either on the floor or on your blocks. Keep that little bit of a tuck. Flip your toes under, lift your knee, and breathe. Isometrically draw the inner thighs toward each other. Begin to straighten your front leg. It'll straighten dependent on your hamstrings. So if it's not all the way straight, don't worry about it. Feel the hips start to level out. Feel a tiny crunch of the belly, but then a long lengthening of your chest forward. Say hi to your hamstrings. Squeeze your legs together. Start to come forward. Bend your knee as you lower your other knee. And then lift up and straighten. Exhale, bend. As you bend, the chest lifts. As you straighten both legs, your chest lowers. Good. And down. Last one here. Reach, reach, reach. And slowly lower. And then slide your right leg back. Slide your left foot forward. Come into that first little lunge. Do the little finger poke, right? The little tuck of that front hip joint in. Feel the glute engage, right? Important stuff. Pull your front heel back isometrically and then draw both thighs toward each other. Notice all that engagement, right? It should feel really good, I hope. Flip your toes under, slowly low or lift your knee. And then slowly bring both hips back until you're in this very long variation of pyramid pose. The hips are even, your front foot is even. You are pressing from big toe mound to pinky toe. Breathe. And as you're ready, I want you to slowly bend, slowly lower as you lift your chest. And then slowly straighten as the chest comes toward your thighs. Here we go. Lift. Good. Lowering those knees. And then pressing back and out. Two more. Lower as you lift the chest. Lower the chest as you lengthen the legs. Last one. Breathe. And straighten. Good. And then lower both knees. Slide your left knee back to meet your right. Set your blocks aside. Plant your hands, your knees or hips width apart. Flip into your toes. Lift your knees. Here we are again. Finding your breath. Tone your belly. Press your chest toward your thighs. Press into your fingers and your thumbs and your wrists, right? And then straighten the legs. As you inhale, tippy toes, chest starts to come forward, knees start to lower, squeeze the imaginary beach ball, lower the knees, press your hips back to your heels. And again, roll up, neutral spine, lift your knees, core work, everybody, hang in there, press your chest back, straighten your legs. Whoo! That's it. Bend your knees. Hover over your wrists as much as you can. Lower your knees, sit back at your hips, your heels. Last one, curl up, neutral, knees lift. Hang in, hang in, hang in. Reach back. Downward facing dog. Back to your tippy toes. Back to those knees bending. Now listen up. Here we are. We're in this weird pose. Maybe the hands go a little bit wider. If your wrists are screaming, maybe, I don't know about soft fists. Maybe you just come down, take a break. I want you to have a deep bend in your knees. Isometrically squeeze a block between your thighs. Yep. And then march in place. You're lifting one foot and then the other. 1, 2, 3. Stay low. Don't lift the hips, just the feet. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold. Squeeze the beach ball, both between the arms and between the feet. Keep the hips low. We're going to slap opposite shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the hips level. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lower your knees. Whew. Go wide kneed on your mat. Release those lovely toes. Come on down for wide leg child's pose. And find your breath. From here, if you can, just come to a little hero pose. Maybe you're sitting up on a block, right? You can sit way high up on a block, medium, low, or none at all. Be sure you're not taxing your knees. And I want you to pause just for a second, right? Mid-class pause. One hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. And as you inhale, count up to 4. Take it to the top. Hold for 7. And exhale for 8. One more here. Inhale for 4. Hold. Exhale for 8. And release it and shake it out. All right. So come on back to your table pose. Plant the hands, right? Watch for those wrists. You can always take the hands further. And I want you to try to do something that all you're going to just do it. Just sometimes the explanation is harder than anything. So tone your belly in, and I want you to slide your right knee to your right elbow and then just press it out. So I'm trying to get you to move through that right hip. So a couple more here just to get the juice moving, right? Get the joints lubricated. Last one. And this time, as you bring the right knee up, cross it over until your right knee is in front of your left knee. So you're in this weird cross-legged thing. And then just lean back. I don't want you to sit. I want you to lean back as much as you can. And as much as you can might be hardly at all, or it might be way back, cow face legs, right? So come on up. Tone your belly. Bring the right knee back to the right elbow and release. Left side. So bring it into your elbow and straight up. Bring it in and out. There you go. 3 more. Squeeze it in and out and in. Press out. Last one. Squeeze it in, out. The next time it's heading toward the left elbow, just cross it over so that your knee in front of knee, and then leaving those hands planted, just scoop back and see. And then come on up and release. So back to the front of your mat. No, back of your mat. Come on back. I know, right? Lordy, the things I think about. Tone your belly. Bring your right knee up, cross, and land that knee. Bring your left leg up, cross, and land. So we did the crawling earlier. Now we're doing the advanced crawling. Switch and switch. Good. Switch again. Last one at the top of your mat. Now the tricky part, go backwards. So bring it back and around. Bring it back and around. Hang in with me if you can. And around. There's always a method to my madness. Whew. Back and back and back. Last one. And back and release it. Whew. And then maybe just come on off those wrists and give them a little bit of love. Shake them out. There we go. Roll it out. All right. Right foot forward, everybody. Come into a high lunge and then a short step forward as you drop your back foot, not to the side position. I kind of look at it, the toes are pointing more forward than sideways, more forward, but your heels are planted, your belly is toned, the right hip draws back in space, one hand to your knee, the other one rises up. So warrior one, right? Warrior one pose. Find your breath. Now, some of you can go longer here. The challenge in going longer with warrior one, is that we might start to lose the grounding of the feet. So if your back ankle is down and your front knee is in alignment, you can go longer. If not, if it doesn't feel stable, go shorter. Inhale the arms up. As you exhale, straighten the front leg. Reach with the arms. The hands are either going to come to your blocks or to the floor. Find your breath, pyramid pose. This is also known as intense side angle pose. It's an interesting name for it, but anyway, pyramid pose. Whew. Feel the hamstring. Now, bend your knee. Once you bend your knee, ground your back foot, like really push into your back leg, tone your belly, reach the arms forward as you come up. Warrior one. Exhale, pyramid pose. Bend, lift, warrior one. Exhale, pyramid. One more, bend the knee, push into that foot. Exhale, pyramid pose. Hold right here. Straighten your back foot, bend your front knee, step back, downward facing dog, shake it all out, and then step forward, left leg. This is easier if your hands are on blocks, by the way. So shorten your pose a little bit, turn your back foot, slightly angle your back foot, front knee to front ankle. Roll your left hip back, squeeze your belly. Left hand to your knee as you push up. Warrior one. Smile. How does this warrior feel for you, by the way, right? Breathe. Most people find warrior one more challenging than warrior two. Nice engagement of the glute, the leg, the back leg is grounded. And when you're ready, that left hip sails back, left leg straightens, hands come to blocks or to floor. The lower your hands, the harder it is, right? So keep that hip roll, press into your feet. As you bend, lift. As you straighten, lower. And again, bend. Good control, everybody. Go slow. Go as slow as you need to do so that you feel in control. Bend, push into the front foot, lift, lower. Last one. Bend and push. Exhale, lower. Hold here. Check out that pyramid pose on this side. Make sure your front foot is nice and squared, nice and grounded, and then press into your back leg. Chest lengthens. Woo, and we stretch. Plant both hands. Straighten it out. Downward facing dog. Inhale to your tippy toes. Exhale, lower your knees. Child's pose. Hands can rest on your, or forehead can rest on your hands. Find your breath. Notice. Maybe just once here. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold. Exhale, count of 8. And release. Good. So from table pose, flip your toes under. Let's come to standing. So one way to come to standing, right, is table to down dog. Take your feet wide on your mat. Start to bend your knees as you walk your hands back. So you're in a wider leg forward fold. I like that. Hands come to knees and you slowly come up and get your equilibrium. Find your breath. Go ahead and take the feet wide on your mat. Have your blocks in front of you. Been working those inner outer thighs. Shake it out a little bit. And then nice deep forward fold, big hinge from your hips, and take your hands to your blocks. From here, nice wide legs, just bend one knee so that the other one straightens, right? Stretching through here. Tone the belly, and then come center, go the other side. What I want you to do here, and if you've got plenty of room, you don't need the blocks. I really want you to go slow to see how it feels in your legs as you go side to side. Do you need to change the direction of your feet? Do you need to sit back more in your hips? What's actually happening as you go side to side? That's it. Couple more. Go slow. Breathe. Back to center. The feet are turned out at an angle. I want you to bend both knees and press the knees out as if you could push them against the wall, just like we were doing earlier when we were on our backs. Tone your belly in, one hand to one knee. Your other hand stays on the floor or on your block, and look over that shoulder. So my left hand's on my left knee and I'm looking over my left shoulder. Whew. Breathe. Keep the bend in the knees. You should be feeling those inner thighs working. Squeeze your belly, fire up your legs. And then one, stay here, or two, take the hand to your shoulder or the hand up toward the ceiling. Breathe. Squeeze your belly. Lower that arm. Hand to the floor. Now my right hand is on my right knee. My right shoulder rolls away from the floor as I look over the right shoulder. Find your breath. Knees are bent. Keep those knees pressing out to the sides. Take the arm up any amount. And lower. Straighten the legs. Turn your toes. Point them more forward. Right hand on the mat. Left hand to your shoulder. Open up the space. Take the arm up if you would like. Breathe. Squeeze the inner thighs toward each other. Exhale, lower. Right arm to shoulder and up to the ceiling. Breathe. And lower. Turn the toes back out. Bend both knees. One hand to each knee. And stand up. Roll your shoulders. Find your breath. Shake it out. Heel toe your feet in toward center. Shake it out. So balance work here. If you want a wall near you, a chair near you, we're going to play with eagle pose. One of the ways I love to play with eagle, I might step off my mat so I could use the block easier. So If you have a block, take the block and put it to the outside of your left foot, and then find mountain pose. Like really lift up and breathe. And then soften both knees, hands to hips. One of my favorite ways to play with eagle is to simply lift the right foot and step it over onto the block so that both knees are both knees are bent and they're one on top of the other, right? So that we can feel this grounding pose, right? Belly tones in, the legs draw together. We're working a little bit of internal rotation and external rotation. Find your breath. One, you're going to stay here. The arms go out to the sides. If your right knee is on top, your right arm goes below, and you come to eagle arms. This is just a lovely way to start to get that balance. Maybe that right foot comes to the big toe. Maybe it just lifts off the block. Don't worry about wrapping yet. We're going to come back to it. Breathe, squeeze the legs together. Bring your foot back to the block. Release your arms and release your leg. Switch the block to the other side. It's to the outside of your right foot. Once again, mountain pose, right? Nice, strong, fired up. Bend both knees and then step your left leg over your right. Bend both knees. You can't wrap if that back leg is straight, just so you know. So once you're bent, the belly tones in, the chest stays lifted, the arms go out to the side, left arm under, right. Any version of eagle arms. Once you're there, squeeze the legs. Whew. Maybe lift that right or that left foot off the floor or off your block. Keep working as you stay in that right foot, in that right leg. Squeeze the legs toward each other. Lower the left foot. Release the arms and come on out. Shake it out. So maybe you do that again, right? Maybe you play there again. It's one of my, again, favorite ways to work with eagle pose. Especially since it's such a challenging pose. All right, so otherwise, shake it out. We're on our feet, right? Oh, we're grounded. We feel the activity of legs, hips, everything happening. Soften both knees, hands to hips. Step across with your right leg, either your big toes on the floor or that ankles to the outside of your left leg, another version, or you're going to wrap that foot around and tuck it behind the leg. If you do that, whoo, eagle's flying. You should have no pain in the knee, so watch that. Arms out to the side, right arm under left, eagle arms. Breathe. Squeeze the low belly and the legs together. Find your pose. Breathe. Think about the breath work. Release your arms. Release your legs. Shake it out. There we go. All right. Mountain pose. Same thing. Soften. Step across. There's your lineup, right? Back knee bends. It's almost as if you were sitting in a chair with your legs crossed, right? Once you get that, maybe you wrap the foot, maybe not. Find your pose, tone your belly. Arms optional, that adds to the balance work. Left under right, eagle arms. Find your breath. Can you find a little bit of calmness here? That's it. When you're ready, release and release and shake it out. Good. If you happen to step off your mat, come on back to your mat. My messy little mat here. All right. I want you to grab one of your blocks and set it on your mat. Now, I do want you to, again, be mindful, because if your knees don't like this, your knees don't like this. You're going to come to a forward fold, and then you're going to walk your heels back so that your heels are on your block. Let me turn sideways so you can see if you're looking. So that your heels are on your block, your feet are on the floor. And then you're going to see if you can lower down to a squat. And you're just going to check it out. For some, this compression of the knees just doesn't work. It just doesn't feel good. I play with it. I have a little funky knee, but I play with this because I just want to see if it is a place that will release or if it is a place that won't release. So I tend to go into inquiry a lot here. Now, if this is easy, there is no strain, no stress here. I want you to take the block out, go wider, and see if you can come to a true squat. Bring your arms forward to help you with balance. So the challenge here is to have flat feet. You can use a blanket under your heels. You can use a block under your heels if your heels are not down all the way. There is a little bit of concern if you're hanging on those Achilles tendons, the backs of the heels. So I would pat it instead of kind of hang there, and then just see how it feels, right? If you happen to be in squat in any way, maybe you press your legs into your arms and your arms into your legs. Lengthen through your lower back. This is one of the best low back exercises for stretching those vertebrae. And lower all the way down. Release your legs. Find your breath. Good. Have one or two blocks near you. We're coming back to cow face pose. And grab your strap too, by the way. So Sunday we played with cow face, and we're doing it again today. It's a tricky pose for some folks. Depends on what's going on with your hips, right? So internal rotation, the feet are wide, the knees are out to the side. External rotation, feet together, knees out. So I'm going to start by leaning back, just chilling out. Don't collapse, right? Keep the chest nice and tall. Your left heel will just kind of sit in the middle of your hip line, and you're going to cross it over with your right. So already we're getting into the form of cow face legs. I'm going to walk my heels out a little bit and just see what's happening. For some of you, this is going to be it. If both feet are on the floor, that's great. If your top leg foot is hanging, maybe a block goes underneath that leg. Otherwise, as you lean back, if your knees allow, walk the feet in close to your hips. Just walk them in. And then again, maybe a block goes under your front knees, right, to just support this idea of cow face pose. Some of you are not going to need a block at all. You're going to be able to lower those knees. In cow face legs, the knees one on top of the other. In real life, maybe there's a block between your knees. Maybe your knees are separated. Okay, there's no wrong. There's no wrong. There is, what is my body willing to do today? So we find that pose. We level out the hips the best we can. We sit up nice and tall. Wherever you have figured out your legs, the other option, of course, is to sit up on a block. on the hips, and that helps the knees as well. So right knee is somewhere on top. That means your left hand goes above. You can use a strap here, pat yourself on the back. Your right arm internally rotates and goes behind. Maybe you just hold on to the strap behind you so that you're not straining. The low ribs draw it back in towards center. The low belly taps in towards center. And you find a little bit of ease here. Challenging pose for many people. We just come where we can come in this pose. Use your breath. Good, one more. Release the hands first. Lean back. Walk those heels back out. And release the legs. Shake them out. Good, let's go to the other side. So you're leaning back. Your right heel kind of walks in just a little so it's more center line. Cross over with your left. And then truly just think about it, right? Where does it want to go on this side? I tend to walk the heels out a little bit so I've got some room, and then maybe walk them back, maybe squeeze them in to center. And then play with your blocks accordingly to see where it feels good. And you may find one side easy, one side not so easy. When you are settled, find settle, don't rush, just find the place. Maybe again, the knees are more separated. I see this a lot in class, and I think it's a really nice option, right? So find your happy place here. Maybe one day somebody will explain to me how this looks like a cow. I'm not sure. So left leg is on top, right arm is on top. I believe this is an ear up here. Your left arm goes behind, maybe your strap, maybe not. Find your breath. Make sure your head isn't dropping down to your chest. Find your breath. So the 4-6 or the 4-7-8 breath, you can find lots of information on the internet about it. It helps the body reduce anxiety. It brings you into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest, where we can start to reduce cortisol levels and increase the happy chemicals that our bodies naturally have, endorphins and dopamine and serotonin. So maybe practice that breath once a day, maybe 3, 4, 10 rounds of that breath. And don't worry about how long you hold it. Work up to it if you need to. All right, release the arms. Oh, shake it out. Lean back. Undo your legs, straighten them out in front of you. And then bend both knees and come to a seated Badakanasana. Take one block under each knee. And then lift up tall, set your sit bones back, and just pause. You can hold anywhere that your arms feel comfortable. Just don't crank on your feet. Like, don't lift your feet and crank on those ankles. So wherever else you want to hold is perfectly fine to me. You can hold your feet, just don't crank on them. I think you get what I mean. And breathe. So again, for some of you, blocks aren't really necessary. I don't tend to use blocks here myself, but I find it more restorative, more calming when I have blocks there. Use your breath. Some of you are going to stay here. Some of you are going to bend the elbows and take it forward a little bit. Breathe. And then if you've come forward, lift up. Hands to outer knees. Bring those knees together. Move your blocks to the side, but where you can get to them. Come back to the full length of your mat and come down to your backs. Bring your knees to your chest. I'm going to give two options here. Either you're going to come to a traditional twist, just let both knees come down to the floor, or I want you to straighten your left leg, let your right foot hook onto your thigh a little bit, onto your left thigh a little bit, and come into this other different variation of twist. Your left hand can go to the outer right knee as you go a little bit deeper into your pose. If this does not feel good in your back, bend both knees. Find your breath. Soften your jaw, soften your belly. If your hand is on your knee, release that. Bring the right knee back up. Bend both knees. And then choose your twist on this side. Either your right leg straightens or both knees stay bent as you move into a twist on your right side. Right hand can rest on that outer knee if you want to go a little bit deeper. Just find your breath. Feel everything starting to soften and release. Good, release the hand, come back to center, bend both knees, and then grab your blocks. I introduced this last class and I want you to play with it some more. You're gonna take both blocks right to where your glutes, your behind meets your thighs. And just set them side to side and then straighten your legs over your blocks. So you should be hips down. If it's too much, then move them a little further away. But you should have a soft bend of your knees, a release of your lower back, neutral spine. Hands are either down at your sides or back on your belly. You can do this similarly with a blanket roll, but I really like this because it takes pressure off the knees. When we're in traditional Savasana, sometimes the legs can hyperextend, and this alleviates that as the shoulders soften down, as the belly softens down. And maybe just one more time, do your own version of the 4-7-8 breath. Excuse me. Start to sink into your Shavasana. This beautiful pose of true surrender, right? We hold on to nothing. We let it go. We let it be. We let it go. We find rest. We find restoration. If the blocks feel really cumbersome or bothersome, feel free to take them out. But if not, maybe leave them there for the duration of your Shavasana. Feel your breath. Feel each part of your body surrendering to what is. We let go. We let in the beauty, the love, the compassion. In this last minute of Shavasana, maybe you release one more thing. Even if it is not a conscious thing, feel your body experience a deep sigh of relief. And then knowing you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you choose. Those of you who are ready, begin to awaken the edges of your body, your toes, your fingers, slowly bending your knees, drawing those knees to chest, rocking to one side, curling into seedling pose, taking it all in and making your way to your seated pose.